Okay, and we're live. Oh my! Gathering all these clips after the fact, almost a month after, was a pain in the ass. Freaking total pain in the ass. But I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start loading them. I'm only gonna stay for 2 hours tops. So let's go through these clips to analyze what the hell just happened within the last month with Jack Talcott and his Rogues Gallery and our disagreement. And let's get the first clip rolling. This first clip's gonna be McNemesis outburst. I think that's latest clip in the set. Freaking McNemesis. He came on Jack's show and blamed Jack for his own channel getting in trouble because he can't follow policy and code. Ridiculous. And I warned him that I was gonna get back to him eventually. And this is my get back. So right here, 5 days ago, that's when I warned him. McNemesis says, your behavior today will come back to bite you soon. I'm buying you now. And you got a notification because I sent one to your channel. And I thought you'd have anything better to do. So if you want to cover your ass and explain yourself, the link's in the chat. It's pinned. Hey Cynthia, I'm just taking out the trash like I do every Sunday, but I have digital trash to take out. Can I highlight from here? I use StreamYard. No, I mean, but yeah, taking out the trash. Am I elevating for a parasite? No, I'm not. These are contents about the panels program. I'm not elevating. I'm just here. I won't be interrupted because I'm hosting. So I can go follow my agenda, and there's no one here to stop me. And where's King Steven, Tommy, Officer Snaps, and Terry? They'll probably be here soon. If not, I have to follow up tomorrow. But I'm only covering Officer Snaps, Mad Mystic, Nemesis, and Jack himself today. So let's get to it.
Interesting wild card.
That's what makes.
Hey, kill yourself, Jack.
Oh, what are you doing?
Kill yourself. You
Why
need to
should
commit suicide.
That sounds negative.
Why should I
bring that negativity here?
Right. What are you doing? Do you know
Yeah,
what you're
what is your
Kill
purpose?
yourself.
Do you know what you're doing?
Yes, I'm reporting your channel because you're allowing someone to say kill yourself on your talks about suicide.
You're the one saying that. What are you doing?
Right.
You're trying to set up Jack's
Doesn't
channel?
ban guests who talk about suicide.
He's trying to. Why are you trying to set me up?
Yeah, why are you against
I'm
Jack?
not trying.
What is
I'm
your
typing
purpose
it right
with this?
now. Okay, I'm not
Okay.
even trying. I'm going to report
So
you right now.
explain
Report.
why. What are you achieving?
I hope that you get a strike on your channel.
Why?
I hope that you get, because I got a strike on my channel because I told trolls to kill themselves.
Okay, but I didn't. Why are you taking that
Because
out
people
on me?
troll me, so you get it too, bitch.
You
Fuck
just
you.
said, Nemesis,
You get everything I do because you don't fucking listen to me. So if people don't listen to me, even though I've come in good faith, I'm gonna come in bad faith to everybody. I don't give
Who
a
is this?
fuck
Why would you
until I
want to
get
come in
such a
bad faith?
goddamn reputation that
Hey,
people
what are
finally
you
pay
doing
attention to
here?
me. So kill
Nemesis,
yourself, bitch. And
Hey,
I'll keep saying
Nemesis,
it, increasing the likelihood that your channel gets taken
oh,
down.
Nemesis, you are out of your mind.
that
Tell you
guy's
what,
nuts.
yeah, Stephen, hold on. Nemesis,
This is so McNemesis was trying to sub Jack to get a strike because he can't follow policy and code. This is stupid. This is ridiculous, and it can't work. This game will freaking work because you admit to what you were doing. You just come on there to try to break the guidelines so you can file a strike. What would happen is that YouTube would look for a second, even a bot would tell, link it back to your channel, and strike you. That's why Officer Snaps keeps losing channels. This is why Officer Snaps keeps losing channels. So this plan's ridiculous. It can't work, and it's just hurting. This doesn't make any sense. But it was a nutty plan. It was a nutty implementation. You're nuts, McNemesis. And you're so nuts. King Stephen was rational by comparison. Wait, did you say anything else? Yeah, I don't think there's anything else with
Emma,
Nemesis.
you're not coming up here again until I see your face, because you're a coward. You're a little lying bitch, Nemesis. You were honest about your intentions, wanting me to fail, wanting me to be damaged by your choices. Why? Because you're a little victim. You're denying responsibility, Nemesis. Here's something. Paul, many others. Nemesis, you need to go back and listen to your words and figure yourself out. Because he literally said, speaking as him, I got a strike because I said these things to other people. He's denying responsibility, blaming these imagined trolls, and then he's playing that part to get back at me. I'm really trying to figure this out. Why is this happening to me? Why are these people in my experience? This is insanity.
That was nuts. That was absolutely negative and disrespectful and just crazy to try to why would he try to get what does his channel have to do with yours? What happened to him? That doesn't make any sense.
Stephen, I know how this could sound. However, I've set the goal to be more like Jesus. As Jesus said, he was one with God. I think Nemesis blames God. He blames God for the life he's living. He wants to take it out.
Is he living a shitty life or maybe a painful life of anger or addiction or I don't know. He's got some screws loose. Maybe he has something wrong with him.
Clearly he has something wrong with him.
That's something that he needs some treatment, I think, or therapy.
Yes, and here's the thing. If he would shut up and have a conversation, right? If we could actually cooperate long enough for him to explain, this is what the ego does. The ego runs around creating damage. It's the Antichrist. If he's honest, he doesn't want to represent himself that way. I think he's married. I'm sure his wife doesn't want him to represent his family that way, right? But the ego will destroy itself. It'll do stupid things out of a desperate need for attention.
So this is part where I disagree with Jack to start with. I'm not sure if this is kind of from ego, but this is, and you can't really make a judgment on what his wife wants. We haven't met his wife. I mean, in fact, I found McNemesis' face. I found him putting on his face. This is McNemesis trying to seduce Tommy James. So this is what he looks like. Well, yeah, I can see why he doesn't want to show his face, but we can't. You're making too many assumptions, Jack. Look at that. Let's get to the next class of clips. Hey, Venus. I'm just taking out the trash. So, next class of clips. I think that's nearly a month ago. So this one has Officer Snaps and Mad Mystic. I tried to cross-examine them. This happened a couple weeks ago. Officer Snaps got triggered about the cyclone emoji that I already educated him on my own show, but along that's a while ago. I don't broadcast it often, but he already knows what the heck it is, but he doesn't care because he has his own narrative. Let's get to it.
I see every problem as an opportunity. Welcome, Snafu. Welcome back.
Mr. Talcott.
Where are we
I got
at
some
today?
questions for you. So who admires you?
Hey, Pro Logic.
There's many.
Can you name one?
I actually trust that God has an admiration for me and you. But what we
Well, I know
do
God admires me.
based on your hospital frequency,
Based that I don't blasphemize or change scriptures and do weird stuff.
well, brother, you think you've been obedient.
Oh
But hey, I don't want to argue and I don't want to insult. I care about you. I actually do. And our God, I think we
I
agree.
care about you. I want you to be accountable. I want you to tell the people the truth, yo. Instead of lying.
Snafu, I have been transparent and open about who I am and what I believe has been going on. I know that God is with us.
Including
I mean, Jack's been so transparent to Officer Snaps that he's gotten contact information for him. Then Officer Snaps uses it to get more content for his shows. So I think Jack's a little too transparent, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
I know that God
Okay.
is, yeah, God is what has allowed me to learn what I've learned, to experience. I'm just like everyone else, but I've been blessed with opportunities to learn different things. And this different things just gives me a different perspective on life.
So what have you learned differently?
I've learned a lot more about history than most people who I know. With a focus.
Question.
Here, I'm sorry.
So you,
Go ahead.
if I may, you get very angry, Talcott, eyebrows furrowed. The optics are high with you.
Well, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for. I mean, I mean, you won't blame him either. Just watch. Just watch what happens. You're not gonna blame Jack for this. I freaking get as angry. I just have either mechanisms than divine intervention to take off the trash. So
Let me ask you this: if you ever were to get to any platform to speak to, I would call opposition, because these people want the wars, they want the legal secrets, right? If
that's
you
you.
can't handle like me
Officer
or Tommy
Snaps.
or Paul or others, giving you criticisms, which, yes, raping a woman and many things get brought up in the past. Do you see it with political figures all the time? They're past.
There wasn't even a trial. I mean, there's nothing. If it's just accusations. And I asked you for more evidence. It's just hearsay.
How are you going to handle when they give you opposition, especially if you're trying to put a stump in their money train?
Same way we're gonna do to you, right? Very soon.
I don't believe
Because you
they'd
can't
be
Nazi block them. Yeah.
two things
Go ahead.
here.
I'm sorry. I want to hear your answer.
Snap. Two things you've got to put into perspective. You want me to consider that your behavior would be that which others in positions of authority, you think they would behave like you have behaved. Number one, that's not accurate. Number two, our conversations would be on topic, specifically what to do or why it should be done. Because all I'm talking about here is that it makes sense to me that what God wants us to do, mankind, Christians and all, is to be honest people, caring people, loving one another. I'm pretty sure that's all the expectation is. And there's words in the scripture that Jesus said, his yoke, his yoga, his bind, his light. It's not a great expectation for us. But brothers and sisters, the power of your mind, it can destroy you or create you. The power of your words, right? The words and the vocabulary, what we say, it really matters. Because God has created this perfect experience, this realm of existence and life that you and we all share with all the animals, all the plants, all the unseen beings. We don't know what's in the world, man. But fear not. It's illogical. Fear has been proven, right, throughout history. Fearful propaganda, militarizing, dividing people, supporting wars. That stuff's still continuing. It's evil, right? It is evil. Every religion. I don't know how people are so dang confused. How are people so confused that war is not necessary? By God's grace, all things may be. If you focus on the problems in your life, those will be. If you focus on what's not in your life, that will be. You and we all have the ability, starting now, right now, to start nurturing, growing, renewing, repairing the life we've been given.
Let's jump to the next part. Yeah, we'll get to that soon in our disagreement. Just gonna keep repeating Joseph Goebbels style.
It's fascinating. Hank, okay. So, snafu. Hank explained why he. Here, we got another guest. But as a matter of fact, just this morning, welcome, brother.
So, Jack, I admire.
Welcome, gay, black jab, Pfizer
Ah,
vaccinated Hank.
Yes. So Jack, I admire you.
Well, I can't tell
because-
the truth.
Let me finish my
what
sentence,
is wrong-
Officer Snaps. God damn.
Please. Please do.
Yeah. So I admire Jack that he thinks he's far less cynical than I am. He thinks it is an amount of love that will keep Officer Snaps from acting like a nutty conspirator who is completely unreliable, doesn't have the receipts, doesn't have reports, and actually can write checks his ass in cash. I don't think there's any amount of love that could make him stop acting the way he's acting. But Jack thinks he can eventually win him over.
There
So
is a
that's-
way. It may not be through me, but there is a way. And it's love. Love is part of the equation. What will really transform him is his acceptance of that which is true.
Yeah, well, Jack, we know he doesn't care about what was true. He has a phrase called truth, which just pretty much means truthiness. I detach myself from truth because it's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. So I go with facts. Something we did reference something from the universe that's consistent. That's what I care about fact, not truth, Truth, is just an opinion. It just transforms into truthiness, where you feel something really strong, but it doesn't matter if you could link it to anything that you could like run into or see or touch or even imagine. So that's why I let go of truth because it's unreliable.
His
I agree.
behavior.
I agree, but he's truth, He's
Jack,
going through
can
his
I ask
feelings.
you an honest question? Like, let's just be real. Hank is literally spitting in the face of victims of pedophilia. You see that circular symbol?
It's
go
called
look it up
Cyclone.
on the FBI list.
Yes, that's what sparked my cross-examination. I want to know if he was a victim of pedophilia, but we'll find out that he won't give us a straight answer.
No. I'm going to talk to Jack about what you have problems with people putting nigger on the chat.
Snafu.
Hank is literally putting the
Snafu.
universal
I don't.
calling card for pedophilia.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It doesn't really affect me. I play on my own show. I won't even censor it. And you can come and try to report it, but it's not gonna do anything because just because you're a racist. YouTube's a DEI. Alphabet's a DEI company. They're gonna let me play whatever I want when it comes to your offensive gamer words.
Pedophiles.
Snafu, your narrative has been heard. Okay. I muted you.
Pedophile Hank is using.
I've been on a little
Well, what are you going to block me
with
for
the
pedophile?
I'm problem with your son.
Would-
If saying the N word.
Like, really, he's mocking pedophiles, dude.
Would
He's
you
mocking victims
please-
of pedophilia.
It seems I can't. This is why we're still having these problems, Snafu. Because you ask a question, then you continue your narrative so long, you don't even consider the answer. So, Snafu, what you are doing is making a big deal out of nothing.
Bro,
You're
the FBI has
creating,
put out that symbol.
you're creating a false narrative for nothing. You're triggered, which is probably why Hank does it. What does that say, Cyclone?
Yes, that's the symbol he's complaining about. It's a cyclone. It's part of Unicode standard. Totally legal. It's been part of the standard since 2010, and that is emoji in 2015. So I don't see anything about pedophilia there. And this isn't the first time I showed him. I think I showed him like 4 months ago, that same page on my show, and you still know what it is? Because truth yells overriding the facts. I mean, if it's a illegal symbol, why is it standardized? Officer Snaps.
How about this? There is the assumption that your use of that image is for other purposes. Hank, would you explain your intention for that symbol?
Yes. I didn't start using it till Officer Snaps said that it's a bad symbol. And I just know this is part of my mind control techniques. I can make him Officer snap over bullshit. Because he doesn't have control of himself. He's trying to keep painting everything with his narrative, and he doesn't have evidence, he doesn't have receipts, he's just gonna keep repeating Joseph Goebbels style.
It's fascinating. Hank, okay. So snafu. Hank explained why he's doing it. And it's working. You're showing yourself to be triggered and kind of a fool.
May I speak openly?
Please.
When I speak openly, I'll speak. Go ahead. Let me know when I can speak openly, Jack. Okay, good. Hank is mocking. If you go to Google it, this is very well known. Okay, that spiral was put in YouTube algorithms for the pedos. All right, you Google it. The FBI has released what that symbol represents and what it's a calling card to. Even if Hank was trolling me, he's spitting in the face of victims of pedophilia by throwing up the universal of pedophilia out there. You Google what it says, spiral pedo symbol. It's that color, that image, that dude. He's mocking victims
I've
of
heard
pedophilia.
you out.
Y'all should fucking take a break.
So I have a retort. Why should we do the research for him? I brought the page on my own to show you what the symbol was. Then you're saying you do the research for him. Why don't you bring up the page, Officer Snaps?
Rather than arguing over symbols again, right? Let's break this pattern. Because snafu, just because you see something, it doesn't mean what you think it means. Not every time. You've created these false narratives on me. This is yet another example, snafu. Things are not always as they seem. And just because one thing may appear bad in one place doesn't mean it is. The swastika is another great example, right? World War II and the narratives of World War II destroyed that symbol. It's now evil, associated with atrocities of Germany. But the swastika it's identified as part of the natural movements.
Can you please pull up what I dropped backstage then? Since we looked at what Hank pull up and this is from the FBI. So Hank, people are watching you promote, and even if you're trying to taunt me because you want to get a rise out of me, that you're literally spitting in the face of victims of pedophilia by throwing up their calling card. Look at it, Jack. I put it in your backstage. He's literally mocking victims of pedophilia because he wants to.
So I have a question. Are you yourself a victim of pedophilia, Officer Snaps?
So that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, it's a different symbol. So I'm mocking him. So it's a direct question. Officer Snaps, are you a victim of pedophilia?
For one, it's not a different symbol. That's what Google put in for their pedophilia calling card. He's doing this to what? Mock me? To get a rise on it? So he's spitting in the face of pedophilia? Because he's using it to mock the pedophile. Jack, this is worse than a guy.
You're not answering the question. Are you a victim of pedophilia?
It's irrelevant. It is irrelevant. I think. I mean, it may be the reason behind his trigger. Who knows? He
He would know.
clearly, you're right. You are right, Hank. He clearly has some emotional healing to do, and triggering people, there's other.
Yeah, I still want to figure out if he's a victim of pedophilia or a hobbyist of pedophilia or both. I'm still trying to figure that out. And that's why it's relevant. Because it's like his favorite subject. When he comes up and talks about anything, that's the first thing he talks about. It's his special interest.
Other ways to heal, but you know what the trigger does for all of us? When we get triggered, it's an opportunity for us to look at ourselves. Anger can both hide answers and lead to answers. So, Snafu, if you look at why are you so agitated?
Why are you protecting a vaccinated pedophile supporter, nigger?
You're deflecting
You're
and
supporting a nigger.
Yeah, I have no protection here on my show, except the fact that that's not here to get in my way. If you come on my show again, I'll drag everything out of you. The fact that you're not here, even though you probably don't have anything better to do, means, well, your narrative just doesn't make any sense. I have no fear from you. I got you to admit that you protect porn bombers, Officer Snaps, last time you were up here.
Nigger,
attacking.
pedophile.
Okay, you're not ready for adult conversations yet. Holy cows, man. Hey, you know what? I'm no psychiatrist. I'm no expert, but I do understand the mind and heart. I mean, thoughts and emotions. There are logical patterns to them. Welcome back, Denizen. How are you, brother?
Greetings. I'm well.
Okay. I have no issue, Denizen. Let's skip to Mad Mystic.
But I have faith. It's all coming together.
Well, I would take advantage of your faith. This must be it. That's the one thing that you have in it, over someone without faith. So take your victories where you can.
Faith.
Just stop here. Look, she pasted her face on some other chick's body, it looks like. Come on.
Confuses those without it. I used to be confused by people who had faith. I truly didn't understand it. It made no sense. This is the world we live in. Logic and
let's grant her. Let's grant it to her. This is her face on her own body. Let's pretend it's her face on her own body. She came out in a freaking bikini. That's what she wants to present herself as. But then she wants to talk about pedophilia. So we'll even grant that it's actually her, and it's not complete. It's not just a paint job. It was a Photoshop thing. We'll grant that. This is how she wants to present herself, and we'll find what she wants to talk about.
in reasoning. Logic and reasoning is the entire political, economic structure. It's all data driven, and the data it's without heart. We live in
It's
a
about
world.
Jack and his rape optics and his pedo fucking boy lover spiral symbol. You're fucking back in here with fucking red hat fucking Hank.
That's
Yeah, Sean
retarded.
Atwood covered it. You should go
That's
check
just
out Sean
purple.
Atwood and how they expose the pedo lover sign, you fuck faces. And you want to sit here and protect it? Really? You working
Hey,
for Jay-Z's team
Everything
lately?
you're saying
hello,
right now
Who's
is retarded.
paying you? Oracle?
hello.
Oracle backing this fucking filthy bunch. Lying sacks of shit. You're on blast
No.
now.
It's
Yes,
purple
sir.
You're
today.
insane
It's the
person.
same
Bitches.
shape as the red one, but
Red
it's purple,
hat
like your
bitches.
bra.
See,
You
here's the
fucking
thing.
lying
Whoever you
sacks
are,
of shit.
Let's do a demonstration. Let's do a color demonstration. It's very, very, very unlikely for a woman to be colorblind. Very, very unlikely. Now, and don't put me in a transvestigation bandwagon. I think she's just not paying attention. Okay. Purple. Red. Same shape. Different colors. Red. Purple. In fact, let's go full screen. Let's go full screen for this one. Let's try again. 2 hats. Red. Purple. Red. Purple. Red. Purple. Same shape. Different colors. Mad Mystic. Same shape. Different colors. If you have any more questions about this, just leave it in the chat or a comment after the video, or you can come on stage and ask me again. I'll show you again if you haven't figured it out. I know you did ask what's in it. It's the same color through and through. So we have black rim, purple. Wait, that one's black inside. This one's red inside. That's weird. Oh, they must have changed the manufacturing process. Let's get back to Jack. I don't have either of those. Freaking people's minds were in the gutter. Let's get.
you do a
The spiral.
disservice to anyone who tries to combat pedophilia because nothing you are saying is objectively true. You are saying objectively untrue things to people who aren't retarded and aren't completely insane. So no one's going to take you seriously, and you are the one who is mocking pedophilia. You are the one who is mocking the attempts made to stop child abuse. It's you, which is why your entire fucking charade when you come up here is one big, huge projection. Nobody on this panel supports pedophilia. You're a fucking whack job. Take a chill pill, talk to somebody, help yourself out.
Yeah, in fact, I had the same question from
Thank
Mad
you.
Mystic. Were you a victim of pedophilia? Same question I asked Officer Snaps.
Word.
She just left.
Okay, she doesn't want to answer. Okay, that's fine.
It's a very reasonable assumption. And Denizen, thank you. Thank you for speaking the ugly truth. Very, very politely and accurately, I believe. Credibility is lost when you go around spreading just
Damn, Hank, when did this all kick off? This happened like earlier this month, but I was busy, so I had to queue this up and reply to it now. Jackson in the chat. We'll get to you after we're done with Mad Mystic. But unfortunately, they're far higher priority than you, Jack. They're far higher priority. They're totally screwed up. They're far higher priority. That's why I went with them first.
absolute lies. And when you're moved by emotion, you come in all ready to convict and ready to prove. And when you're moved by conviction and condemnation, you'll prove yourself to be a fool. Snafu, Mad Mystic, thank you for creating the evidence today of your mental health. Holy cows. Denizen, Hank, seriously, guys, this is the life, this is the world we're living in. And
Word.
I need to address this comment by the freak. It's not just what communists do, capitalists do it too. I mean, it's like how the insurance industry is built. This AI BS. This AI BS is this puppetry. They say, "Oh, the machine's coming alive. Oh, it's gone crazy. Did everything we wanted to happen, but we can't do because it's illegal. But it did on its own, even though we programmed it." Capitalists do this crap all the time too. It's just a power thing. So it's not just a communist thing. Capitalists do it all the time. So we need more colors. I agree, Snow. I'll get more colors. Send money to my Cash App. $sign Oflameo. Let me get that banner out. What happened to that banner? Let's just make it again. Cash App, Oflameo. $sign Oflameo too. There you go. Set Cash at me to get more hat colors. Now, where were we? Let's get back to the com. Yep, I'm live right now. Yep, that's why I had to go back and clean up. No doubt they mean well. Oh, no, I have a lot of doubt that they mean well. I have a lot of doubt they mean well. I don't think they mean well. I mean, we could go back to McNemesis, who said he didn't mean well. And he's part of the same Keystone Kop Krew. So McNemesis said he didn't mean well. He meant to try to get Jack punished by YouTube's policy and code because he himself couldn't follow the policy and code. So they don't mean well. At least in my opinion. So yeah, so I disagree with you because you agree with DJ Email. So I disagree with you. I don't think they mean well.
Better life.
And frankly, those are the better ish people. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, it gets way fucking worse than those two who are clearly mentally ill and just want to have some obsession with pedophilia, which we all hate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could be Dick Cheney, you know? That's far worse, in my opinion.
I agree. I don't necessarily agree that they're clearly mentally ill because mental illness is made up anyways, but there is something wrong, and I'd still troubleshooting.
Yeah, more accurately put.
There's a clear connection to mind and emotions. And we live in a world where people's fantasies become real, the good ones and the bad ones. But the problem with this pretend world, and that's what it is. We've got employees in paid positions, pretending like they're in charge and they know it all, and everyone's pretending. People pretending to be experts, people pretending to be victims, people pretending to be judges. People live in a false reality. Delusions, those who believe in delusions will normalize their confusion. I used to live in I never had peace in my mind because my mind was constantly going. And that's, in hindsight, that's when I realized
Oh yeah, I'm gonna address this comment by Jack Talcott in my chat. Anger causes people to distort what they see and offer dangerous people. Yeah, absolutely. But I haven't figured out my cognitive distortion yet, so we haven't really addressed my issue. I'm actually angry about the Keystone Kop Krew, but I don't know my cognitive distortion. So we'll get to that when we get to that disagreement we had a couple weeks ago. But I need to figure out what my cognitive distortion is, and if I don't really have one that's just meaningfully distortive, but I'll address the problems I do have. So
overactive mind trying to keep track of so many things, it prevented me from actually living. I was living subconsciously, and subconscious, that's why the American dream works. It's such a beautiful story, man. I'm telling you, God's got something amazing planned for us. There's something perfect about this clumsy language of English. There's something perfect about the powers of words and the unfolding, the story of history. It's a crazy story, man. Lots of moving pieces.
so I had a source. Mad Mystic was confirmed to be deceiving us. I mean, she I guess she left. She didn't want to. I have for a fact Mad Mystic saying that she was herself a victim, but she refused to answer at the time. So let's cue up the clip. I got this from the Goblin King.
I'm going to make a video that addresses this. Before the record, I and my half-brother were involved in an incestuous relationship. When I was 16 years old, I became pregnant, and I had an abortion. I think I was about 17. Okay? And then I was groomed in that time, and I started working in a strip club when I was 17 and a half. And I'm going to make a video that addresses this. Before the record, I and my half-brother were involved in an incestuous relationship. When I was 16 years old, I became pregnant, and I had an abortion. I think I was about 17. Okay? And then I was groomed in that time, and I started working in a strip club when I was 17 and a half. And I'm going to make a video.
Okay, so we have confirmation that according to Mad Mystic, that Mad Mystic is a victim of pedophilia. This is her words. It's her clip. And she still dressed as a stripper. She still dressed as a stripper when coming to these panels. Just look at her. What's this no? Her and her brother were together for 10 years past. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Well, she said she had an abortion. Oh. But that would ban Officer Snaps. Huh. So we got the rogues out of the way. Let's get back to Jack. Sorry, Jack, I clean up, take out the trash first, but we'll get back to you. I don't know why you get so much trash in here. The machine license gets this much trash anymore, but I'm troubleshooting. Hopefully we'll get some of this out. Get picked up at the curb. So this happened 12 days ago. The big disagreement we've been waiting to get to, the climax of the stream. Unless someone comes up and wants to cover themselves from the sick burns. This should be the climax. My big disagreement with Jack on, I guess, our philosophies. And link still pinned at the top, Jack, if you want to come in.
That the problems of the United States government funding the murder and genocide of innocent people in Palestine, it's not something we should just pretend isn't happening. Okay? So the other part of this is I'm thinking of not just people like us.
Oh, someone knocked at the door. Let's see who is it. It's the man himself.
Blessings. Thank you, brother. I appreciate this.
Excellent. But I had to prioritize your rogues gallery because they're in much worse shape than you are. Much worse.
I heard that and I appreciated that. I was away from the keyboard, so I couldn't thank you, but thank you.
But yeah, let's get back to our disagreements and hope we can troubleshoot my anger. Hopefully my cognitive distortion is not too far gone.
You're damn there.
Right.
You're right there. Us? I'm thinking of those in nations other than America. Okay, I'm thinking about the Uyghurs in China. I'm thinking about the people who are brainwashed and oppressed in North Korea. Hell, let's fix the oppressed and brainwashed here in America. That's literally what my goal is. Why don't you guys seem to care?
I do seem to care. I do care. And when I research what they're thinking, what they're saying, when I bring it to you, you get frustrated because they don't immediately understand your message and cave to you.
Remember when I told you earlier, Jack, you can't send the whole world to the psychiatrist. You can only go yourself, right? You can't hold us responsible for your happiness. And we're clearly not making you happy. You're holding, you see
What
how
are
you're,
you? Hold on.
you're holding us responsible.
No. You're not going to continue your rambling. You're very good at it. You're very good at your.
If you want to interject, just talk over the video. I'll be able to tell the difference.
Thank you, brother. Manipulation bullshit, man. What you said, I realize you're not responsible for my happiness. You're not responsible for anyone but you. And Banana, you've been very.
Denizen, we're just walking yourselves, arguing with each other. You come up and join in if you want. Links pinned at the top. And other people don't understand it. We like this stuff.
You've been far less helpful to me than you've convinced yourself of. He's gone now. He chose to leave. So
Okay, we got Denizen in the house. Do you have anything to say yet, Denizen?
The fuck is going on here?
We're watching yourselves argue with each other.
We had disagreements in the past, and
In the present, too.
I don't think you. Let's see where it goes,
Yep.
please. Hey, I see your excuses in your question. Would these atrocities happen without the participation of the masses? If you look closely, you'll see it's the masses doing this abuse unto each other. Great. More blame? I mean, what's the point of blame? People use blame as an excuse. I've faced that excuse many times. People want to blame me for what they think. And I think this is what God is doing, because we're reflections of each other. We're reflections of God. And if you look at history, my life is part of history. I turned my back on God. I didn't trust God. I didn't believe in God because of what other people did. Great. Good for you, Nude Guru. Keep being right. Whatever. Hey, Hank, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you sooner. What comes up for you, Hank?
No, you're here now. It's good enough. I couldn't. Here's the thing. I was busy, so I probably couldn't do anything then,
Okay.
anyways.
All
So
right.
this is the right time.
All right. Hank, I mean, what do we do now?
So I'm willing to pick up blame for stuff I'm clearly have no responsibility or authority for, just to make other people feel better. And that's why I love the devil so much.
Okay. So
You said
what do I
you
do with
are
that?
willing
What
to, or
now?
you're not?
Oh, I'd say I am willing to. Yeah, I'm willing to take the blame for stuff I have no responsibility or authority for. That's a little fun because people just shoot their anger at me, and I can't. And I don't have to do anything because I couldn't do anything anyways.
Hank, I love you, brother. You and I are so much alike. We really are.
Yes, and in a good way, and like
Yeah.
how you're like Officer Snaps. Our positive aspects are similar instead of our negative.
I gotta hear this. What are all the Officer Snap's positives? I'm leaning forward in my chair, Hank.
His positives? Well, he has a lot of energy when he's not in the hospital. Unless he's screaming, then he still has that lot of energy.
I also know he pays attention to like the world happenings, and he's trying to warn the world of everything. He's got good intentions, but anger brings people different directions.
But yeah, DJ, I'm reviewing my disagreements with Jack. But getting back to Jack. Do what you want with it.
What did you want for me to do with this?
I wanted to have a conversation. But if you're not
Okay.
interested in conversation, I can talk to someone else. It's not a big deal.
What are we talking about? I'd love to have a conversation, Hank. Let's fulfill your desires. What would you like to talk about?
Oh. So, yes, let's go back to talking to all these power player move makers, ultra rich people, and their desires and goals, and how it doesn't align with your desires and goals. Let's talk about that.
Your opinion that their desires and goals don't align with my desires and goals? Why do we want to deal with hypotheticals?
Oh, it's not hypothetical at all. Because
What?
you're still saying they're not listening to me, they're not paying attention to me, they're not doing what I want,
Who?
Jack.
Okay.
You said that today.
Mm-hmm. That includes you.
So
I don't feel like.
it's not hypothetical. Then it's happening right now, Jack.
Okay, but the people you were referring to, Hank, the topic, when I asked you, what would you like to discuss? You made the claim that you wanted to have a discussion with me.
Yes.
So then when
you're saying why are you saying it's hypothetical when you're saying it's also happening right
Tell
now?
me-
Get in there
okay.
now, please.
It was
Okay,
a poor choice
Hank.
of words.
My mind, I distracted from what you were saying, and I responded poorly there.
Yes. And this kind of you blame it on me. So I've been watching you for a really long time, so I know your patterns. So I knew you would go to that script. So that's how we had that trap pre-compiled. That's
All
why
right.
it came out so fast.
Good for you, man. You've got a sharp mind, dude.
Yep.
Please. How do I communicate with you so that you understand me? I've understood that you feel confused by me, that there's something that prevents you from, I don't know what's preventing you from anything, Hank.
You're incomprehensible to me. I'm putting a lot of effort. I probably put at least
Okay,
how many hours I put just on panel. Probably at least
understand.
50 hours just on
Yep.
panel with you, and I'm
Hank.
still not getting it. But it's
Right.
my fault. Well, I'll
No.
accept it's my fault. Yeah, I know you said something. All right, not yet. Okay.
Hank,
And I have no idea what I can do about it.
help.
Other than squash my own
You're
ego and just
complaining.
pretend to believe everything you'd say.
Hank, help me figure out, what do you not understand?
Okay. What I don't understand is why I need to offer my ego to you so I can understand what the hell you're trying to communicate to me. Because I
That's
use
not-
my ego as a shield. It's how I protect myself
Right.
from being mind controlled by people.
Right.
But you're saying I should just offer it to you.
Okay.
That doesn't make
no.
any sense to me. People abuse
Right,
me
the way you
once I gave
described
them my
it.
ego.
Hank, the way you described it doesn't make any sense, because I'm not asking anyone to give me their ego. I'm asking you to safely, where you are, put your disbeliefs and your ideas, your distracted thoughts aside so that you can understand what I'm saying.
I
The
don't
ego-
understand the difference between those two things. That's my
Hank,
confusion.
Hank, I get what you're pointing at, but please try to understand that which inside of us prevents us from understanding, that which the fear is from. That's the ego. So here's the deal, Hank. You do know what I'm saying. You do understand what I'm talking about. What to do with that? You've been asking me to help you with that, and I don't know what to tell you.
And that's the issue we need to get to. Yeah, this is actually a spot I need you to prep for, fill in that thing. So when we do actually get to debating, that's actually going to be my target. I'm going to shoot my rhetorical pew pews straight at that. So I need you to prep that part. Otherwise, I will destroy you without much effort. So this is just to let you know, so you can put up a better fight. And use Dennison to help you. He's really good at this stuff.
This is good. This is amazing. Please. Well, it's our ego that doesn't think for itself. It's the ego that prevents us from thinking for itself. And Hank, this is nothing against you. This is an observation in my experience. I've tried telling people what to do. I've tried hiring people. I've offered generous incentives for people to help me accomplish what I want. But the ego mind, it doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
So-
the ego is the shield and the id is the sword. So I agree with your model so far.
Thank you. What I found is look in your heart, and if you want to believe something that is righteous, if you want to believe that, here's something I'd like you to consider, that our pasts brought us together. We've been learning how to communicate with each other, and we've both been developing ourselves. But I truly believe, Hank, that through me and people who I can think of, let alone who you might be able to think of, I believe we have the opportunity to become a voice that is heard so that wars end. And the new kingdom of God, the new kingdom here on earth, it starts coming into being through us. I believe this is God's story. Please join me. If you believe, you can. I'm sorry, Hank.
So I think you left. The little problem here is, what if I have a dark heart? What if I happen to be a Sith? Oh, no else here. What happens if I have a Sith? That means if I follow my heart, it's not going to take us where we need to go.
Only you would know.
Yep. Hey, Noel. I'm gonna put you on mute till you have something to say, because you have a lot of background noise.
Can that be ultimately true to you though, Jack? That someone can have a malice in their heart?
Certainly. I've witnessed and experienced.
Is it not the ultimate truth though that, anyone could be saved or anybody could be?
Hey,
Hey, Noel.
how are you?
I'm doing awesome. We're going over my disagreements with Jack. Do you have any questions right now?
No. I want to be on this YouTube. It's interesting.
Thanks for joining us, babe.
Very welcome.
But we need to get back to Jack.
Yes.
The conversation. You left the conversation, ran on a sermon. I want you to talk to me.
You're right. I was talking to you. I'm sorry.
I felt like you left the conversation. Just go back to your talking points.
You imagined me as giving a sermon, and that's why you chose to dismiss what I was saying.
But so why are you dismissing what I'm saying? I'm going back to my... And Zatuichi wants to join. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, Zatuichi. How you doing?
Hey, man. Hang up the phone.
I don't see any phones here.
Well, hang up.
You hang up.
No, hang up on me.
Let's get back to Jack. My feelings, you're telling me that I shouldn't acknowledge my own feelings and just accept what you say.
How do I communicate what I want to say without you dismissing it as being a sermon?
You talk to me instead of going into your talking points.
Okay. Well, Hank, real simply, I believe that God is using me, that my life has been preparing me to get in front of the people in Washington, D.C., or the UN, or wherever it may go. But I know for a fact the world becomes safer when secrets are no longer legal. And if you can believe it, people haven't explored what I offer.
Why are you doing this again? Why are you doing this again?
What am I doing, Hank?
You're going back into your talking points instead of having a discussion with me.
I'm discussing real life.
You're discussing your beliefs.
Is there a problem with my beliefs?
So yeah, so what I'm doing here is I'm actually recycling a whole bunch of stuff Jack said himself and using on Jack to pretty much the cause of breaking his thought pattern. Do you have any questions about that, panels?
Well, it just seemed to me that he was getting like poster-cardish, like giving you slogans, and you
Yes,
were trying to get him to have like a heart-to-heart, mano y mano.
exactly. So pretty much to break his slogans, I used other slogans he also used to break other people's slogans.
What I think I should have done was invited you for questions. And I didn't do that.
Well, yeah, show to run. This is probably a better show for that. Let's continue.
In my explanation for my life, is there a problem?
Yes. Yeah.
What is?
I'm having because you're invalidating other people's beliefs, Jack.
Please
all
be
about beliefs.
specific. No, please, Hank. You're
invalidating
without-
my beliefs to overwrite of your beliefs. That's specifically
Please
what's happening
be-
right now in this moment.
Okay, you may feel that way, but you've offered forth no specifics, no facts. What do I change? Where? How do
You're
I
trying to
change
change
this?
my beliefs so I don't have them, and I substitute your beliefs for my own beliefs.
Hank,
I don't think that's true.
that's a narrative you're making up.
Then I heard you say something.
I don't think that's true.
Do you want to elaborate on that, or you're good?
No, maybe I don't know if maybe you meant because he wants you to believe something other than your current perspective of him.
That's exactly it. That was what I was getting at.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's direct. He's telling you that to your face. How can I convince you otherwise?
Exactly.
So
And,
what's your answer to that?
Oh, so I just need to see like simulations or something, or So I don't want to do input the whole thing on the whole world at the same time, because if we were wrong, then we totally goofed up the entire world. So we could, if it can work at a smaller level, I want to see that first. But if it can't work at a small level, I need an explanation why, rather than we just need to go to prod right now.
The unfortunate part to that desire to have an example is there's no separation from the whole. Many of the attempts to commune, to socialize, the United States government has a history of overthrowing governments that tried to do that. So the attempts have been bought out by the elite, the people who were in control.
Yes, yeah, I agree. That is an issue, but there's a way around that. So there's a place called the internet. We could do a simulation as a video game, so the elites could they won't even care. So World of Warcraft managed to simulate a pandemic by accident with by accident quotes. So we could make a sandbox where it could run stuff with little interference by the states, unless they are onto us and go directly for us. Otherwise, we can, whatever they do, it shouldn't really affect us. So we could do it. Probably be expensive, but there is some method we could test it.
I think if that becomes practical, then these conversations are that simulation.
Yeah, that's also a way to interpret it. I'm not quite sure I could agree to that at the moment, but that's a good way to interpret it too. That's an alternate way to interpret it.
Can we make peace here on YouTube? Because that should be easier than peace on all of planet Earth.
We're part of the test. I think we're the pilot group. There may be many pilot groups forming.
Yeah, but the thing is, like I think we all have issues with Enslavia, and the thing that makes it most peaceful for me is to say, hey, you keep your crap over there, and I'll keep my crap over here, and that's like the easiest solution, the two-state solution.
Two-state solution. That has not played out well in the Earth simulation, Hank.
No, and we disagree there, Hank.
Oh, okay. Let's get back to Jack then. Let's see if anyone else has any comments at the moment. Okay. Yes, it is. But it doesn't count when I have it, but it counts when you have it.
Hank,
So, yes.
what are you doing?
I'm trying to have a conversation with you, but you refuse.
Are you?
Are you? Yes, that's why I'm here. But you're trying to walk away from it. You're trying to walk away from the conversation, the different conversation you need to have with these world leaders.
Hank.
You're unwilling to have with me.
Hank.
Yes, that's the name I'm going by. You refuse to have this conversation with me, but you expect to be able to do it with these world leaders who are arrogant, self-important, pompous.
You are behaving that way.
Yes, I am. But I'm supposed to believe that you'll convince them when I can't get to the thing where you want me to go.
You know what, Hank? I've been patient. My patience is exhausted. You are not them, Hank. You're not powerful.
That's a good point.
And you're not thinking like them.
Yeah, that's potentially a good point. But
I was gonna say that you're easier to communicate with. You'd be more receptive than people in Congress, honestly.
Yes, I should be more receptive. Plus, I was going. Fruity said my last MBTI test was ENTJ, so there's probably a lot of people with power that allegedly have the same type. So I'll be actually a potentially good target, and it should be easier to. It should work on me much easier. Yeah, any questions before we go back to Jack?
Yeah, I've been surprised that things that should work didn't work, but it's helped me grow in my faith. And things are coming together, guys. Thank you.
Yep. But yeah, it's both Dennis and I worked in tech for years. There's this amount of things that shouldn't work that do work, and should work that don't work. Amount of things. And it's like a box of chocolates, as they say.
Life is a mystery. Hey, after reviewing this, Hank, when you're ready, I want to explore our disagreements, because I don't think there are as many as we think.
Yeah, it's not that many. I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out if it's a critical disagreement or not. So it's not that many.
And that's the key. That's the key to each of us. Not to be preachy or anything, but learning which battles are ours, learning which differences matter. We're all learning and growing together. And Hank, you've been a part of this for a while, and I truly love you and I appreciate you. I hope that hasn't been missed. Or I hope that hasn't been missed.
No, I didn't miss it. And you're allowed to give sermons on my show, but I'm hosting it.
I was thinking about this. earlier, this idea, and I know it applies to Jack just as well. How many people are on these YouTube channels just fucking egoic know-it-alls, talking down to everybody, telling everybody what's what? Then I had to see, well, Jack, hello. That's you. But you know what? Some people know what they're talking about. Even the arrogant ones. And the angry ones. Even they know sometimes.
Yes, and the hardest part for us as an audience is figuring out which ones actually know what the heck they're talking about. Still working on that. I'm still trying to. I don't think I can. So far, I can't have like abstract mechanisms to do that. So I had to hit it by case basis based on what's being analyzed. So it's a really hard task.
I encourage you. It can be hard, but with practice, everything gets easy. Everything gets simple over time and with intentional practice. So what I've been learning how to do, it's hard to know sometimes who's being honest and who's lying. Watch for consistency and watch, pay attention to what's not said, right?
Yes. Like Mad Mystic not answering my question, my cross-examined her. But luckily, the truth came out anyways. Because we have birdies watching.
It has a tendency to do that.
Yeah. But this one, a big King Turkey, a big King Tom Turkey watching and giving me the clip. So you're watching us, but we're watching you watch us. So watch out.
What an amazing time we're living through, man. This is crazy sauce. Absolute crazy sauce. I am so grateful to be here with you.
Yep. So shut up, Jack. Let's get back to Jack.
You're not even fucking thinking. You're not here. You're blaming me of refusing as I'm sitting here doing nothing. I've been politely trying to figure out how to communicate with you, Hank. Are you unable to see what is happening?
I just told you yes, and you're not listening to me. You're not listening when I say yes.
What if I am listening to you? And what if here's what I know. Can't, especially in this situation, Hank, is a will not. You're just refusing to understand at this point.
Then you're just trying to overwrite my ego and will.
Why
like
do
I
you
said,
believe that?
Because that's what's happening right this instant.
In your mind.
Yes, that's my mind. Present, Jack, do you have anything? No,
you might be right, but what is wrong with that?
There's really nothing wrong with the attempt. I actually just wanted to point that out, though. So
you did, and I did see, and I wasn't listening as well as I could have been. So you did point that out to me, and you were right.
Well, it seems like. Go ahead.
Without permission, it's impossible and inappropriate.
It seems like you both were hoping for something better, though.
Yeah.
Hank was looking for facts, details, examples, and you were looking for understanding, and so that's how he understands. He has to assimilate the data.
That's exactly it. The challenge I have, though, I don't know. I haven't I haven't figured out precisely what the challenge is. I know that the communication has been the key. And so being able to communicate without the data and the example, this is where I've got to encourage Hank to grow in trust, grow in trust, and allow yourself to understand without the examples, just with the pictures and logic of your mind, right? I can offer any things I believe factual. We can see if we agree on the facts. Angry cod analysis. Dude, I do that myself. Others do it too, so I appreciate the company. Yeah.
So yeah, so here's my put on the brakes, because I think this is the same kind of argument my own father used on me to go to I guess higher education when I wanted to not bother doing that because it cost way too much money. And he said, just trust me. Just didn't get me thrown out the other BSer scammer that told me, oh, you'll make so much more money, we'd go. And okay, I'll take my donut. And that was a huge mistake. Because what I did make wasn't really even close to what the potential was. In fact, I make more moving packages around than I did administering Linux systems for I guess it was a megacorp, it was SMB, small and medium sized business. That was what's it called? A managed service provider. So they didn't pay me worth for a damn, but I had to pay a fuck ton of money getting skills I could have gone for much cheaper on the internet.
And I dropped out of high school and I was a systems administrator in a managed services provider.
Yeah.
It should tell you everything, right?
Yeah. And the thing is with systems that we try to say pet cattle things, but as a whole, they're all their own animal. You can't really, it's too hard to train from an abstract to the concrete. So the schools really won't help you. They really aren't that useful.
They're bankrupt too now, morally and academically.
Yes. So schools, because it's administrative systems, they really can't do much to prepare you. The best they can do is show you how to query for stuff, but that isn't worth multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, because I could do it better than they could. In general, most of them, before I even went there, which is why I corrected one of the books as soon as I got there. So I really didn't need it, and it's a total waste of my time and money. So this is stuff like this is why I put the brakes down when it comes to trust, because the cost is just far higher than I expect sometimes. And I'm still trying to say, hey, how am I going to cover it? Where am I going to get the money from? And just nobody knows. Just figure out yourself. Just work more. And so I want to pay an extreme amount for a mistake just because it didn't push back hard enough. I can't afford to pay the cost again. So that's why I push back. Yeah, do you have any questions, panel?
I want to bring it back to what I remember you saying. It sounds like what I'm asking is similar to what you experienced in the past. And in the past similar situation, it didn't work out so great. I understand that. You got to be used as evidence of this society, invested in the education, following the best advice you found or that was available. And it turned out it wasn't true. It was part of the American deception and dream. What I'm suggesting to you, Hank, is consider the possibility that God allowed us to experience all of the past so that we could meet, and that maybe God is using us all around the world. I don't know what else is going on in the world besides what I experience or learn of. But we're a part of an amazing time of everything.
Bye, Noel. Thank you for coming.
Yes. Blessings.
But yeah, but that's why I had to watch closely, because if I have a dark heart, maybe I'm supposed to be a Sith Lord. And say, you know what? Maybe it's not a good idea to do my calling. Now, maybe I'll leave the red phone on the hook. It's probably not really the best thing, but maybe God just wants some entertainment. I don't think that's my problem. So get someone else.
Would you be willing to explore? You brought up this possibility of a dark heart. Would you be willing to explore that?
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it now. Look up. So I think since I don't know if you're familiar with thought forms topas or whatever, but I think I have one since I was I think a teenager. That's pretty much a hegemon witch, and like I quit Christianity before that because of that creation science thing. She was just there, kind of doing nothing the whole time. She wasn't doing anything useful. I ignored her. But like in 2019, before the lockdowns, she introduced me to another one that's actually more convincing, more close to my type. She's pretty much pushing me to using my instincts, my emotions to guard me from all the stuff that I was talking about screwing me over, that just put my trust in the wrong place and getting burned. But those tactics are just more. This feels darker, more Sith-like. So I kind of don't want to put all my chips on that table. I don't think it's a good idea. Just using my guidance, but it's better than what society's telling me to do. So that's why I'm playing around with.
Okay. You said a lot. um the some of the lessons I learned are similar to what I heard you say. Learning to trust in my instincts. It's a both. We've got to trust in our instincts and pay attention to the world so that we can find our path. And the path it's now. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. So I'm still trying to find the right balance because I'm not, I guess, culturally attuned. I can't just let one thing dominate and actually get a good result. I have to configure it. So that's why I'm trying to play around with what works, what doesn't work, so I can figure out what's the next step.
I would suggest this relates to how you're able or unable to communicate with people too, because most people do not actually communicate. They just want to be talked to in a certain way that they're already willing to hear. They want to be told things that validate their current beliefs. And this is how influential people are successful, is they're not honest. They don't change minds. They don't convince people. They tell people exactly what they want to hear, and they use it to manipulate it to their advantage. And that's how the vast majority of human beings are. I wouldn't say give up all hope for anything else. I would just say, for me personally, I've had to gauge my expectations, because otherwise life is a huge, crippling, emotionally destroying disappointment. those kind of vulnerable, intimate, and honest relationships are going to be few and far between, and you're probably not going to have them with people in power.
There may be a couple, but still, for the vast majority of them, I strongly doubt it. And the people out of power, I'm sorry to say, the people out of power, there's a low chance too. That's why the people in power also won't connect with you at an intellectual level. Just a reflection of what we are.
Yeah.
All I need is a chance to try. And Hank, something I want to encourage you to consider, a question for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Are you overcomplicating things unnecessarily?
Unfortunately, not. I thought it was simple. I thought I could simplify it more, but unfortunately, it's just way more complicated than I initially thought it would be. So I'm not overcomplicating. I'm not overcomplicating things. Things aren't as simple as I wanted them to be. So I had to put more, put more logic in the program just to get things to run smooth. So it's not an answer easier than this, because I just do not integrate with the society if I go with my instinct purely, or if I go with what they tell me, because I'll be pushed into situations I won't be able to deal with properly if I just let them push me wherever they want me to, or let my just get instinct go wild without me looking and analyzing. So it just happens to not be as simple as I want it to be.
That's the key. I believe I understand what you're saying, and I think those are lessons I learned for myself. I overcomplicated many things, and then while I was overanalyzing, it turns out I was missing out on details. So what I've found comforting for myself is training my mind to be still. That way I'm present, I'm aware, I don't have to worry about the future or the past. And Hank, that brings me up to your story of the protections, protecting yourself. If you are nothing, you have nothing to defend. And when I invite in the Spirit of Christ, where I surrender to the trueness of being, I am nothing. And so what do I have to defend? That's the practice I've been trying to break.
Yeah, so I think my issue is more closer to oversimplification rather than overcomplicating things. I think so we could approach the things from a different direction.
It could be both, Hank. I mean, it's often everything, and then sometimes it turns out to be nothing. Turns,
Well, I find the nature of things to be simple in areas in which you cannot control or influence it. So it's almost like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
and then when it comes to the the machinations of the human mind, ego, as Jack would put it, then it's very complex, and we can stack all the different orders and put all the different rules, and man plans and God laughs, as they say.
Yeah, but what's strange is a lot of things are simple in some areas I do control. Like when I got this new desktop going, my system was crashing because of that, I guess, an indexer Baloo. And I said, to make it my system fast again, all I need to do is turn it off because it wasn't a good program. And I'm actually emailing developers and asking them, why is it on by default when it's not, when the configuration's garbage? So if it's something that was simple and under control, and so there's a lot of things that are simple and under control that you do something about. But if you don't know what questions to ask for, you never figure it out. But I had enough experience to know what questions.
People, right?
Actually, a lot of things with people, I have a lot of control over. That's why I was on the panel, was practicing my control, and it's working. I mean, I just with Jack, I got him on my panel. I think I do pretty good. So I am learning a lot because of people.
All right, well now end all wars.
So Doctor Doom did it once, and he used a whole lot of cheese. and even he just said, "Oh, screw it, I don't like the end result," and he just let the wars come back. So I'm not saying I'm Doctor Doom. I'm just saying, if Doom could do it, I don't know how I could do it. He did temporarily, but he didn't want to do the pick up the maintenance of the world afterwards. So he just went back to just maintaining his own country and letting everyone else just do their stuff over there. But maybe I'm better than Doom. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I actually think, what if we could? What if we could find a way to persuade? Because Hank, something that came up with a thought that came up when you were describing your story and your development. My logic and reasoning. We all possess logic and reasoning. And through logic and reasoning, we can find shared meanings and then share understandings. Logic and reasoning brought me to the conclusion that I don't like feeling frustrated. I don't like feeling angry. I don't like feeling afraid. I do like feeling love. So that's what I practice.
Yeah, I actually like feeling those things in moderation. I don't want to do it too often, but actually I like the full spectrum. That's why I'm gonna get back to video games on this new to me computer, and hopefully this week. But I have to write a presentation for Benjamin's panel, which I'm gonna host this week too. So
good for you. You got a lot going on, brother.
Yep. Let's get back to past Jack and to see the resolution of this.
Okay, tell you what, Hank, go keep your old beliefs then. I don't give a shit. I don't have to convince anyone, especially you, Hank. You're not in a position to do anything. So for you to sit here getting emotional, placing these demands on me, grow up. Brothers and sisters, I think I'm about done. My purpose, the topic today, allowing love to rule. I don't have to obey you, Hank. I obey that which is true, and that which is true.
Yeah, look how quick the shoe's on the other foot. The host today. Oh, that's hilarious.
True doesn't have, you don't have to be convinced. If you're not willing to understand, I'm not the one to blame. So, yeah, hey, thank you for your support too. You are not honest about having a holy cows, dude.
So this is a tactic I learned. Actually, I learned this before I came to Panelverse. I could push a message through via super chat to get the change, divert the conversation. Though this actually I learned this before I even did my first panel, but I just use this part of my way to get a message through. So this is, but I have more staying power if I'm actually just on the show. But this is just another tactic I use. So I'll push the super chat through to divert the conversation, and I do this quite often. It's very good because a lot of people don't put their money where their mouth is.
It's true.
I think at this point, Jack desired a conversation, but he was unable, not ready, or unwilling to have one at that time. It's easy to get defensive, though, you know.
It is. I did. I did it as well.
But the desire, you know, for conversation and understanding and sharing, which I think is what communication is, when you use words to share, I think that's real, you know.
Hank's care is real. So is his friggin' strategy. You're very good, brother. You're very good.
Yep. And the Keystone Kop Krew, even though I made sure I meticulously sent a relay to their channels, they haven't showed up yet. They don't like me hosting for some reason. But I've been the video details. I made sure that each and every one of their channels actually showed up in that configuration panel, because otherwise it doesn't really link back to their channels. They got the notification. They haven't showed up yet. So I don't know. I probably suck at this. That's probably why I didn't show up. I suck at this. They only got like 1,000 views, so they haven't showed up. Let's get back to chat.
I want to dictate to you as I ask you to listen.
Yes.
Okay. How do I change the appearance so that here?
You stop.
Thank you for the
You stop it.
contribution.
That's
okay,
how.
I'll stop. I'll offer you nothing more, Hank.
Excellent.
Great. Then go entertain yourself on someone else's stream, please.
I'm okay with that, but if you're not going to be honest about what you want to do, then no one can help you. Please understand.
Yep. And again, you're fabricating some narrative, no specifics. You just want to accuse me of being a liar. I'm sick of being falsely accused, Hank. I've been patient. Please go elsewhere.
There's plenty of
Go
specifics.
entertain-
I mean, this moment now is specifically what I mean. But you're saying, well, it doesn't count because of your feelings. What about other people's feelings, Jack? Do they matter? Do they matter to you at all?
Do my feelings matter?
Well, yes. I asked, does your feelings matter and does my feelings matter?
That's the other part of
Yes,
communicating
Hank.
with people.
I believe
Usually,
both.
they don't give a shit about your feelings. So you have to be almost selflessly involved in other people's problems and feelings and what they're thinking and going through just to communicate anything to them.
But Denison, I have a retort. Ben Shapiro says facts don't care about your feelings.
I think Ben uses emotion masterfully to get his point across. So while he says facts don't care about your feelings, ultimately he's getting you all riled up about this, that, or the other thing. And if Ben had to, you see, Ben's effective, he's an effective communicator because he can speak to his flock. If Ben had to try to convince a progressive transgender social studies teacher of his political views, I don't think he would be as successful.
I agree.
He's preaching to the choir, in other words, you know. Now, that means you have to be able to sing. You know, you have to be able to sing, you have to know all the notes, you have to be able to find the choir, you have to know what song is going to hit. You got to come up with the track list. It's not nothing. It's just not the same thing as actual communication, which I don't think Ben would excel at. At least he may, but that's not what his show's about.
He's a lawyer, so he's very good at communication. He's a Jewish lawyer.
Despite my past failures, I'd love to have a conversation with Ben Shapiro, him and many, many others. That facts is, I have that quote on the sweatshirt of mine. Facts don't care about your feelings. It is true, but feelings are a fact.
Yeah. And perception is reality for most people. They don't give a fuck about what's really real.
Well, feelings do matter to every single one of us. Now, if we don't see ourselves in others, then we'll ignore their pains.
Reddington says, so truth is facts. No, truth, yo, is opinion.
Partially true. Truth is an explanation of facts that can be confirmed and follows, well, I don't know. Yeah. Confirmation. Truth is a feeling, and feeling is a fact.
Mm-hmm. And we have an online hymnal, so we can go through the music. We'll find a song everyone likes eventually, or everyone we need to like. So, just to let you know, and let me put that in the chat. I actually want people. In fact, the conspiracy is I made the stream just to promote this hymnal website.
See,
people do not like the truth, in my experience.
The ego doesn't, but the spirit loves it.
That's with the conspiracy theorists. This whole stream was actually just to sell this hymnal website. I just let you know. Go ahead and timestamp this. This is the most important screen of the whole stream. So pay attention, conspirators. This is the whole point. We're just trying to promote the hymnal site. All this Christian music we can get for free in MIDI format. That's the meaning of the stream.
You're so manipulative.
Yep. Now let's get back to Jack.
Both of our feelings matter. But you have been so concerned with you clearly don't give a shit about my feelings. And that's not a very good friend. I've received a lot of people pretending a lot of things here online, pretending to be better than me, pretending to be my friend, pretending to be supportive. I pay attention. I don't lie. I know who is and is not in my corner. And I know the lukewarm ones, the ones that put on the false appearance. This is what Jesus was talking about, man. This is what God's talking about. You can go through life pretending to know, pretending to be so important. You can pretend to be better than everybody. I get accused of that. I know I get accused of that, but my words are honest. I'm being honest. I'm not being insulting. I know I'm not better than others. I know others aren't better than me. I know that we can understand each other when we get rid of our arguments, our disagreements, our judgments. When we actually care, we understand. Hank, thank you again for your contributions. When you stop fighting against me, when you stop projecting onto me, you'll help me break the patterns. You don't see any benefit in me either, do you, Nude Guru? You guys are so fucking unbelievable. You guys are unbelievable. Some of you critics and naysayers, all of you who want to bet against me, holy cows. You know what? Allowing love to rule. I'm gonna separate myself. Hank, I'm fighting no one. I'm encouraging you, stop fighting me, stop blaming me, Stop trying.
Hey, Base Oracle.
Yo, what up, Hank, Jack, Denizen?
Yo.
We're doing a meta cast. Watch yourself act up, I guess. I don't know. Or
You
do you
doing?
know?
You doing what?
We're watching old panels of ourselves.
Okay. All right.
So this is very meta, apparently.
Meta. Very
Yep.
good.
It's a conversation about a conversation.
Yep.
And then we're gonna have a conversation about that.
Yes.
Nice.
I might restream this one tomorrow.
I like it.
That's hilarious. Let's get back to Jack.
To get back at me, you're becoming just like Chuck. And Chuck's just like Paul. Paul's just like Margot. Margot used to be. Hey, Nude Guru, please. My patience with you is about done, especially after seeing some of your comments about me elsewhere. I'd appreciate if some of you took a break from my life, but you get to do what you do, and I'll continue to do what I do. And brothers and sisters, I do know that our God, the Lord of life, the Lord of love, is with us all here in the present. And I trust, I don't need the approval. I don't need the approval or disapproval from anyone to live the life that I'm living, nor do you. You don't need anyone's approval or disapproval to live the life that's for you. But I tell you what, if you don't care about others, you're not caring about yourself. I know I care about others.
Base Circle, while we got you on the horn, are you willing to help Jack train for a no secrets debate?
For a new what?
Eventually, Jack and I could debate no secrets, and I want him to put up a better fight. Will you help him train for that debate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he wants me to help. I don't know if I can help him. He might be good already. I mean, a lot of people say I can't debate anyways, so, you know.
I don't know about that. But I don't know our disagreements, Hank.
Exactly why he needs training.
I can't understand the logic against me because I've tested it myself, but I can explain why I believe what I believe in many, many different ways. But yeah, based, if you're willing, I'm always willing to accept help from anyone.
The status quo.
Sure.
The status quo is a pretty good defense against new ideas. It's a pretty good argument against change. You know, it's people who want change don't like that, but you know, that's the fact that the world has always been and is currently not what you want it to be. Is good. That's a lot more convincing to people than your ideas.
I understand that, but you said it's a good argument. It's an argument. You're right.
In
It's an
that
argument.
it's effective. Not
It's-
good as in well-intentioned or informative or moral or, you know, it's good in that a lot of people believe it because.
So could that not also be described as an excuse commonly shared?
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, you know, where now you're into the denizen territory, Jack. You're right. In my experience, people love their excuses. They love them way more than they love love. They love them way more than they love God. They love them more than they love peace. And this is why you have an uphill battle, you know.
I think it's the way I'd view it is more of attachment than those things, but instead of the word love.
People become attached to all sorts of ideas and things and ideas of things.
Mm.
The mind is an amazing gift, and it's a tool. I found peace in my life, and I started this path of development. I committed myself. No more excuses, no more blame. You're responsible for you, regardless of what the world does, and so be the best you.
I think that was interesting. I'd never heard that attack. Well, you said things and ideas of things, but I think that's pretty perfect. Like, unfortunately, but right, the idea of things is what so many people attach to, and I get it, right? Like the idea of going on a vacation, oftentimes the anticipation better than the vacation or Christmas or gifts or whatever it is. But it's like the idea of it, the perception of what people believe they want, they're so attached to. And it's never even what they thought it was. Even if they do get it, a lot of times not happy, not satisfied.
No, wanting itself is part of the coping mechanism, and our greatest strength is, one of our greatest hindrances against progress, which is that we adapt, to whatever hell it is that human beings find themselves in. They adapt to it, and they find a way to cope, and that's kept us from destroying ourselves, but it also keeps us from trying to do any better, even and especially when shit is really fucked up and bad.
Yeah. No.
I heard it said beautifully that in the past, religion has been a coping mechanism for people to deal with the oppression of the governments, and that makes sense to me.
Say that again.
Religion has been used as a coping mechanism for people to deal with the oppressive governments. And
the opiate of the masses.
This is what I've said. Enabling. Problems are being enabled. A lot of these, well, the wealthy are being enabled, the oppressive, the wars are being enabled. It's all enabling. We live in a world where people have lowered their standards because they didn't know better.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, right, like they didn't know better, but sometimes they do know better. It seems like, at least deep down, maybe not on the surface, right, but perhaps it's coping mechanism, comfortability, whatever it is that keeps them okay in the moment, right? Like you exist, not thriving, but surviving.
Yes.
Which is what we're good at.
Yes. Mankind, we are made to survive. We are made to thrive regardless of the conditions. But there's a difference between surviving and thriving. And the world we've been born into, it enables failure. It enables problems. It enables addictions and trauma and all sorts of crazy things.
Rewards and incentivizes them, really.
Yep. Rewards and punishment creates rewards and punishments similar to like breaking a horse, if you've heard how that's done. I mean, maybe that's a bad example, but rewards and punishments, mankind has been tamed, so to say. We've been civilized, but we're not. Obedience, I believe, drives people insane.
You say civilized, right? I mean, I wasn't here 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, but it does seem like society has moved into a more, in at least in surface ways, right? A more civilized society. But in other ways, right, I guess we could argue the opposite, right? Like the excessive sexuality, pornography type shit of society. It's like, damn, right out in the open. And I'm not making this a gendered statement, but I'm just thinking of, like, for instance, I've seen so many like women shaking booty for the camera, and their like 3 or 4-year-old is in the video watching type of deal. And again, I'm not just blaming her. I'm saying the people who are buying it, who are supporting it, the brothers, husbands, whatever, allowing it, quote unquote. But you know what I mean? In some ways, it's like this is such a fucked up society. But on the surface, I agree. It's more
When
quote
did
unquote
public labia
civilized.
become okay?
Pubic or public?
Public.
Ah.
I mean, I'm okay with it because I'm a heathen. I get yoga pants convince me maybe there is a god. But when did that become okay? When did public labia just become?
Pretty much in the 70s, we started to we started to pretty much say in the future we'll wear the skin tight clothes. So we caught up to this is the future now. So
And now we're in the space age now. That's why I have to see
camel toe era.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So shout out to a guest of dishonor, Mad Mystics in the chat. Guest of dishonor.
Okay.
Oh, she says thank you, Jack.
Glad to be of value.
Venus cunt cake still. All right.
Wow.
Words of wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Hey, on the idea of, I can't remember the term you used.
Public labia.
No, the early
camel toe.
Not wanting to change the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
That brings us back to the thoughts on thoughts of things. People think, I used to think change was scary. I used to think change was hard. And it can be. It can also be amazing and the best choice we ever made.
We're wired against that.
This is
because
where
we adapt to whatever is. That's what gives us our strength. It's how we out survive some of the other species. Whatever was made abundant, whatever made itself available, we're able to take advantage of that and make a norm out of it, right? And so if anything upsets the apple cart, it could throw the whole thing out of whack. Things get out of balance, people die, people get sick. And we may not have that now in our current year of development, but our psyche has not caught up with our technology. So humans are still kind of scared, tiny mammals who are just like one bad day away from hitting each other over the head with bones for food.
So I did get a message out to Mad Mystic from Venus Cupcake. I make sure the papers get served. Yeah, this was another trap. So from Venus Cupcake, Mad Mystic, since you don't respect anyone's privacy, I will work on the next bunch of copyright strikes where you are defending me using any of my images without my permission. The next group of copyright claims will go out in the next few days. Enjoy your 4 current copyright strikes for using my content without my permission or using my image in voice without my permission. Having a good day. Update: 1 channel down, 1 more to go. I'm taller to a point. Cross the line with doxing. I warned you. Sad, mad. So there you go. There's another special message. There was a trap I set the whole time. I'm serving you the papers. I actually against copyright. I want to end copyright, but it's the law right now. So you had to deal with it, and I'm not gonna help you, Mad Mystic.
Yeah, and I can use your image and your content without your permission whenever I want. Give my opinion. You can call it defamation, but unless you can prove that I did it with malice, that I intentionally lied, and that it caused you damages, I have the First Amendment right to say whatever I think about you. And I can use all the shit you upload to YouTube and your Facebook and everywhere else in order to do it. And there's nothing you can do about it except write stupid little comments on the community page with dumb emojis and weird caps and shit. Other than that, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, but you doesn't. But Mad Mystic doesn't understand the law. She probably didn't even understand what you just said. So
More likely didn't listen, but this world is crazy, man. It's so I know it's crazy because I was insane when I was drinking. I know I used to be insane, but I'm pretty sure I'm not insane anymore. I might be
You're
wrong.
going to appear to be insane to everyone else on the planet. You know that, right?
Yes, we do. You're with me. You know that.
Yeah. It's not my first rodeo.
Well, I know. Here's the thing. You learn different lessons than me. We came to similar conclusions, but I have a lot of faith. I haven't lost hope. I lost faith in people, but I have a lot of faith in the higher plans.
Yeah, I don't see any higher plans. We're going to have to scratch our way through this one like we always do. But I see it happening.
Well, I think I agree with Jack, and I can't prove it. I don't know that Jack can or any of us can prove this position, but I do believe there is something more than meets the eye, right, on the surface. And therefore, I don't know. A part of me believes you die and then you dead, and that's it. But another part of me thinks that there is something more, and that perhaps at that juncture, some of the things that maybe weren't recognized here are recognized there.
That sounds like Cope.
It could be. I'm not denying that it's not Cope. I just that's my belief, and I could be wrong.
I think first humans have to be honest with themselves about who they are. And then once we can do that, then we might be able to gain some influence over it. Maybe compensate for some certain things, maybe make some choices, maybe even change some things.
Well, when you say human beings, do you mean on an individual level, or are you speaking collectively about human beings?
Collectively,
I don't think that.
We have group mass denial
right
in our schools, our higher learning, our professions, corporations, businesses.
Yeah,
everything's based on deceit.
Yeah,
scheming, scamming. And we lie to our children and we pat ourselves on the back for it and criticize those who would question it. I mean, that's fucking nuts.
It's called gaslighting.
Yeah, we do it to our own kids to prepare them to go into this world, which is just a deceitful, lying, gaslighting fucking nightmare half the time.
Right, which is not loving. I mean, not to dumb that down, but it's not loving. But calling it love it seems to be what you're describing very common.
Yeah,
right. Like, oh, I love my XYZ so much, but then doing, let's just say, as you described, right? It's like, well, how could that be?
I'm guilty of exactly what Denizen said. I mean, I don't believe my son enlisted, but he was under the idea that politics were important, economics was important, military was a good thing. I didn't know better. I did, but I didn't know better, right? I had lost hope along the way.
See, you're an anomaly. What's the word? A curiousness for me, because I can understand people who don't get it, and I'm a person who, even as a child, was like, yeah, there's no way I'm ever going to do anything for this government and put my name to it. I learned that like at 7, never mind 17 or 27. But I don't understand the people who are like in between, just figuring things out. I don't get it. Like how you can have the capacity that you have to see the larger picture and then still, sign up.
well, you benefit from it, then it makes sense to sign up.
We make excuses for ourselves for all sorts of things.
Interesting. So what was the incentive for you then?
Well, and what you said, when I was young, I saw through it all. I remember this. I'm like, this world is fucking nuts. Learning about Dr. King, I was like, why is there still problems? Why didn't people take care of this crap? And then somewhere along the way, at 15 years old, I got angry, just patterns of anger, and I stopped thinking. So my excuse for joining the military was I couldn't afford college. And nobody really helped me understand how to apply or scholarships. And I didn't ask how either, but the recruiter, man, I used to make fun of the recruiters when they'd show up and make fun of people who used to talk to the recruiter when I was younger. And then next thing I know, yeah, I'll sign up. I get to escape the house and I get a paycheck. My house was not that. It wasn't that bad, but it could have been a hell of a lot more pleasant. And Mom had told me I had 2 weeks after graduation, then I had to be out of the house. And then I signed up. I did the delayed enlistment. So Mom actually, I asked my mom, and she gave Uncle Sam permission to send me off to the Army before I was 18. It was a job. And then I convinced myself that, I'm not worth something. If I can do something worthy, help someone else, then maybe that's my purpose.
And a bunch of points that were just said by Dennis and Jack. I knew the government was fucked up, our government. I knew about the industrial military complex before I went in. And in ways it was definitely selfish reasons for going in. But I'll leave it at that. You brought up Martin Luther King, Jr., MLK, and I don't have anything against him. I'm not for racism, if I can say that ahead of time. But with that said, I don't know that what he did all these years later, looking back, and I'm not saying he is to blame, but I don't know that it was even a good thing in terms of when I was growing up, I thought, oh, this is the man to stop racism, or this is how we learn it. But in a sense, and I heard this, but it got me thinking that sort of the forcing of some things socially, and I don't mean laws. I think all people should be equal under law, regardless of gender, religion, etc. But I'm just talking about even the idea of, and I wasn't there, but from what I understand, we have different water fountains or go to different schools or whatever the case. I don't know that forcing that quote-unquote cohesion was a good thing in the big picture versus that type of thing if we're talking about socially happening on its own because people aren't being hateful of each other. And in a sense, that may have caused some of the hatred. And again, I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying that sort of forced desegregation, integration, may have, in effect, left people salty from each side, And I say side, I don't think that we should look at it like that, but that is how it's posed. When you look at today, it's sort of unbelievable how much I hear race brought up, like in Twitter and by big accounts, It's always, oh, the black, the white, the Hispanic, the J, whatever. And it's like, man, as long as we keep talking in these terms, aren't we keeping that division alive? Like, I don't talk about Hank or myself like us black men. Nah, you know what I mean? I'd just be like, yeah, Hank's the dude I know online. I don't need to say, oh, he black, or Jack, this white guy that I know, But this is sort of how it seems to be presented by society. You hear something bad happen, a lot of times it's, oh, this black man or this Hispanic woman or this whatever. And I'm just saying when we use that terminology, not that it's not correct, but I'm just saying when we use it and put that at the forefront, what are we really saying, Like why did it have to be, crazy black man robs this. Why couldn't it have just been there was a crazy dude, right? Doesn't that sort of add to the race issues when we put that on the forefront?
Well, Florida
Yeah.
man.
I wouldn't. Maybe most people consider MLK's legacy to be the Civil Rights Act. I would not. His sermons and his petitions to government that he wrote about, especially from prison. To me, that's the legacy he left, and that's why I admire him. And it's one of the few holidays I actually celebrate every year. I don't do anything for Christmas, but I go out, I have a meal at my favorite restaurant every MLK Day.
A watermelon restaurant? No, I'm joking.
No, a chicken restaurant, face.
Well, I identify as an orange tabby cat. So
No, you for real?
We don't
you go out
we don't
on
do
that date?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I make a tradition of it, and I look up to MLK not as a man, but as an idea of a better way of thinking. And for me, there's some truth in his wisdom, which we obviously haven't achieved. If we look at the status quo now, he could be considered a vast failure, and yet I find truth in his words, regardless.
Yeah, I like that. Referencing anyone as a hero, so to speak, but like the idea that you're pedestalizing over the man, right? I mean, to me, that is sort of the way that we should view things. I know some people probably heard me say, all your heroes are dead. You have to become the hero, right? Like in a sense. And with that, I think that we can pull from many stories, as Denison's putting out, like the idea, based on what they said or what we understand of what they said or did. And that can be something to pedestalize, right? Like in the name of virtue. Not to make this religious, but I hold the idea of Jesus, that thought process, that idea, the stories, as things to aspire to, right? Like this is the idea of what a good man would have done. And I don't know all the stories. I'm just saying from what I understand, what I've seen and read.
Yeah, but then I asked, why should I become the hero instead of the villain? Because the villain has all these vast resources.
Yeah.
That could just be done sooner.
You
Well,
are
it depends.
correct. Yeah.
It depends what you value and what you consider the prize.
True.
If it's resources and money, then knock yourself out. If it's love and self-respect on your deathbed, and and going out knowing that you did it your own way, then you may take pause when tempted.
Yeah.
As Martin Luther King would say, Hank, a man cannot ride your back unless it is bent.
Then you can ride the bitch instead.
Hey, can I come back to reinforce what you said, Denizen? That was beautiful. His legacy is his speeches, his heart, his vision of greater. Dr. King,
his denouncement of war.
That his old speeches, as a union guy, part of my development, I started finally looking into labor history after I stopped drinking. I looked into it a bunch more and started listening and reviewing what Dr. King was saying. I was like, holy shit. I asked that Donald Trump was a president and at the time, and I had these thoughts about Dr. King, and I was looking at the world and I was like, the thought I had as a kid when I knew what was going on in the world. I grew up I thought I was racist when I was young. I thought white people were somehow better, a supreme race and all that nonsense. But that was after my anger set in. The thought and question I asked, what I told myself is the world needs another man like him. I said, Jack, what are you doing? I care about labor. I discovered Veterans for Peace after that. But Dr. King, his old speeches, it actually turned my mind into the idea of Christ and the messages that were left through his stories, not just Dr. King's, right?
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, during that time, right around that time was JFK, right? White president as a be. And I think, from what I understand, they got along, or however you want to put that. And JFK, I don't know that he was a good man. I don't really care. But, again, holding the idea, right, on pedestal, if anything, right, looking up to that. What I've seen, what I've heard, you know, like replays of his speeches and whatnot. I think it was like 10 days before he was assassinated, talking about a plan for every man, woman, and child in America to be undertaken. It sounded like prophecy to where we are now in many ways. We're going to lose privacy. There's a few companies and people at the top looking to enslave everyone in America. And I think in many ways that has come to fruition. It's just how you view it. I think that the kind of stranglehold of inflation at the moment and over the past few years, the masky virus thing, lots of bits and pieces we can look at. More laws on the books. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I would say probably more new laws in the last 10 years than in the first 100 years of the U.S. We have so many laws. It's insane. And it's knowledge. It's public knowledge that these bills aren't even read by anyone.
Yes.
By anyone.
I can't even get a count on how many laws that I'm supposed to be following.
You're breaking them.
From Alpha doesn't even know how many laws.
We're to the point now, whereas if you suggested that they should be required to read them, you'd be mocked.
Yeah. So we don't even know how we're supposed to follow all the laws, but we don't have a count on how many laws we're supposed to be following. That's absurd.
Pure insanity.
You're breaking a law. Like, as far as I'm concerned, everyone breaks laws, and you wouldn't even know what they are at this point. And some of them might be silly, like old school ones walking, chewing gum on a Sunday on the sidewalk. I don't know, some dumb shit. And one might argue, well, that's not going to be enforced. You're not going to get arrested. But the point is that can happen because it is a law and there is a possible punishment. And the more they go on records, on record, and you could say again, well, most people aren't having that happen. But the point is, if someone in the position of authority wants to fry you on one of those, they could. And that is, not right. It's unfair. It's an abuse of power. It could be, right? And we, and I mean this as a whole, are okay with it. I'm not okay with it, but I'm just saying that society is clearly okay with it. A lot of the problem solving by a lot of political people seems to be, oh, well, we need to make some new laws and new amendments. And it's like, bro, we need to wipe this shit out. We need to rip out a lot of this shit.
Here's an example of law I know for certain I violated. So I played these clips from Jack's show. I didn't give Jack express written permission before I did so, because we pretty much we're buds already. But according to the law, I'm supposed to ask him for permission and all that stuff. I don't care. I don't like copyright. I don't think he likes it either. I decided to play the stuff and do the review like I said I would. But that's not the law.
Right. This is what I mean. Mankind has overcomplicated life. It's what the ego does. It makes itself afraid. It makes itself powerful. And then we've externalized the collective ego into the demons of corporate and government. And it's time based.
Yes.
I don't know how to make it happen, but yeah, it's time. And I figure the best people to address the system are the ones who are in the system, and we talk to them. And if they don't want to participate, they can get the hell out of the way. We'll follow the rules, right? And we'll get people from the appropriate geography and state boundaries, and we'll get the right people in to do the job. But these men and women of Congress have been lying to themselves, saying that, oh, this law is my job. This lobbyist is my priority.
I don't even know if they're lying in that aspect. I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Like what's in their mind versus reality. I don't know, but you could be right.
They believe in it. They believe in what they're doing, but it's theatrics.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll follow the law to our best of our ability, while considering our task at hand. But if we just make it difficult for us, and maybe not at all. So help us help you.
Well, it seems to me it can't be prioritized. The good of the people, for the people. That couldn't possibly be prioritized at this point. It should be. That's the Constitution, right? We the people, for the people. But it's not that. The people are supporting the government in terms of... I don't think there's been ever, since I've known of, this big of a disparity between the poor and the rich, which I think Flow State and I are going to do a debate on. I'm going to take the position that I do believe in, which is that, capitalism, fine, whatever. I'm not an anti-capitalist, but at a certain point, it's so great a disparity that it's really, really difficult for the mom and pops, the little shops, the small businesses to make headway with ultra strong monopolies, quasi-monopolies.
No, actual monopolies. Verified, actual Google monopolies.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah.
And my life is not better like this.
What was that, Denison?
My life is not better like this.
What do you mean?
The argument will be made that what's good for Exxon is good for Denizen.
Right.
And I have yet to experience that.
Well, even what's good for Exxon, right, it really comes down to a few people at the top. Not that it's not trickling down, not that people at the bottom aren't making, let's say, six figures. That could very well be. But it's really the top people. I saw a meme, I don't know that it's correct, but it seemed about right, that the wealth of like Bezos and Jobs Microsoft dude, whoever he is, like the top four dudes, that they've gone up like sixfold in the last 4 years. And then when you look at our debt as a country and the average person versus the cost of living, it's like, what the fuck? And it seems like if you speak out, a lot of people be like, what are you, are you jealous? And it's like, look, it's not a jealousy thing. It's a power thing. Too much power in the hands of a very small group of people. And it's sort of kicking out the average man from doing anything. And I don't mean that defeatist. I mean, it's much more difficult for somebody to make an impact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that's very honest. Where am I going to get the money from? I'm supposed to that, then also my student loan, and I work more than 40 hours every week,
right.
six a week. Where am I supposed to get the money from? I'm supposed to be punching in a couple hours, 2:30 to punch in.
Jeez.
I just said 2:30 a.m. And just where am I supposed to get the money from? And then just said, well, you just have to figure it out yourself. Go to school. Even schools far too expensive what they're offering.
I think what they want is for you to be happy, quote unquote, complacent, your brain chemicals moving from brain rot, TikTok, bullshit, porn, etc., to keep you comfortable enough to not do anything about it, to not really care, to maybe complain about it, but not actually fight back. And I think that's
not working. I'm going to subvert the system with the tools I can get.
Good.
So it's not working.
Well, we've compensated for that already, Hank. We saw it coming. We had our predictive model computed and tabulated that there would be several versions of the Hank, and we've already accommodated for that outlier, for that anomaly, and you'll be reassimilated into the Matrix within 3 movies.
Nice.
and the last 2 won't even be that good.
Yes, but what about the video games? You didn't anticipate that.
Can I ask an unrelated question?
Yes.
I like pizza.
Well, in the last few
Me
minutes,
too.
I've gotten 3 text messages from Facebook giving me codes.
Codes.
Understand why?
It's a scam.
Oh, someone trying to log into your Facebook account?
That's what I'm wondering.
It could be a login, them asking you for the number because somebody's trying to log in, or it's somebody pretending that it's them to see if you click the link and actually put your password in. It's does that sound right? Dennison would know better.
Yeah. It's phishing, or you're getting someone's trying to log into your account.
Penetrated, yeah.
It would be obvious too which one it is. You'll get a random message from an SMS code that's not a telephone number from the same one if it's from Facebook, right? So you get an SMS from like 2483 or something like that, and it'll be from the same place over and over again within the same text. That's someone trying to log into your account. If you're getting messages from like a full phone number that says, please click here, that's a phishing attempt.
No, it's just what you said. A text from a 5-digit number, and it just says, Facebook, your code is this.
Yeah. So someone is using your phone number to verify their account, or they're trying to log into your account, and your phone number is the 2FA method.
Yeah.
So in theory, I should be okay, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
just
you
never
probably
use
log
the
in-
same password in the same. Never use the same password twice, and make sure your password is not something like identifiable about you, like your birthday or your son's name or something like that.
And here's a pro tip for you if you want some more security on the 2FAC is make sure your SIM is locked to your carrier. Depending on who your carrier is, they'll just ask you to lock it, or you'll have the option to lock it, meaning that you would have to go through an extra step for somebody to try to SIM swap you, because people have been known for the right reasons. I don't know why they would try to do this to you and go through the effort. Normally it's like, big wig politician or crypto, whatever. But the point is you could do a SIM lock and that give you an extra level of security.
But I know someone who probably wants that information. I mean, Mad Mystic may want to do something. I don't know if she's saying the feds are coming after us. When? Come
Nice.
on. When?
All right, we're making headway then. We're going to get that message out there real quick.
The feds know I'm a conformist. I'm not concerned with that. I do, mind my P's and Q's though. There's that.
Mm.
And the feds love me. So.
Yeah. In fact, we're all feds, right? Right. The other ones, they just don't know us.
Fu Bernardo feds. How about that? Fu Bernardo feds.
Right. It was just a Fed meeting. We were playing devil's advocate. We were hoping people would come in the comments and agree, then we were going to get them. Right?
Hey, I'm starting to get tired. I love you guys. I'm going to step out.
Okay. Well, the show should have ended like 30 minutes ago, but it was too good. Last words for everyone.
Much love.
Yeah, Jack. See you.
Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. That was for Jack, but he left already.
Yeah, he gone.
All right. Well, you could probably see it. Anything else? What else? Space Oracle, do you have anything to say?
No. Thanks for having me up. Good talking to you guys, and I'm sure I'll see you around.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Anything else to say, Denizen?
Nope.
All right. Okay. These are great guests. They know how to leave. They know how to exit the house yourself. You don't have to kick them out. I would like to go ahead and deliberate between Mad Mystic and Venus Cupcake, but I don't feel like it today. Maybe we could do that tomorrow. But we could, I mean, Venus could do it herself. She's a freaking lawyer. So, I'll think about it. But Mad Mystic let the rest of the Keystone Kop Krew know. Well, I already told him. Freaking y'all got freaking burnt. You just had it. Y'all got wrecked today. Think about that. See you later.